Hello Instagram, I'm just going to go straight into this, and if anybody comes on and watches, they do, it'll be on IGTV, so if anybody's catching it on IGTV later, they don't need to sit and watch me wait to see if anybody comes on. I want to go through a couple of things that I'm going to be covering in the Posture Project Masterclass. If you're watching this before Saturday the 24th of July, it's on Saturday at 1 PM. If you're watching after then, it's available to buy on record. Lot of common problems with people's posture, particularly these days, is head hanging forward, humpy back. This really common, or this kind of upward look. Another really common problem is rib thrust, butt stick out. Sometimes they've got this going on as well. Obviously this is quite exaggerated, but for some people that is not exaggerated. Now even for myself, I spend a lot of time on my phone, so my head hangs forward, so even when I'm bringing myself into alignment to try and bring my ear over my shoulder, that's a lot of work for me right now because my neck is tight and I still have more work to do. And what I find sometimes is I pull that in, I thrust my ribs forwards just to give me that sensation that my head is in the right place. So my head might be in the right place but the back isn't, so tuck the chin in, tuck the ribs in, pelvis in a neutral position, weight down as evenly as it can be between the feet. So just being aware of what your posture is doing so that you can do something to correct it, because if you don't even have awareness that things are not where they're meant to be, you can't bring them into alignment, you can't make a change. So awareness is always the first thing. Today what I'm quickly going to go through is what we can do to try and help this humpy back that many of us have, in this technique where the head's been hanging forward. You've been at the laptop, you've been at a computer screen, you've been on your phone, you've been on your tablet. So first thing we're going to do to try and relieve some of that is check in with the ribs, be tall through the spine. So you can do this in a seated position or you can do it standing up. We want our ribs stacked over the hips so that we're not getting a back thrust. And then you're going to draw in and squeeze in quite tightly to really pull the chin in towards the chest. So if this is, if you find that difficult and all you keep doing is thrusting the ribs forward, if you go to a wall so that you can sit with your back against a wall or a door, and then press the shoulder blades back, press the spine back, and also bring the chin in. So you're giving yourself a double chin. That's totally fine. Double chin is fine, but shoulders press back, upper back presses in, tummy muscles stay drawn in, and then pull the chin in. It's almost like you're trying to get the back of the neck as long as possible without bringing the head forward. So really pulling that in. So that's going to help release these muscles in at the back of the neck while getting a wee bit of strength into the muscles at the front of the neck. So practicing that to get that release. Then bringing your elbow into the waist, palm flat out for both sides at the same time, and then opening the hands out, but keeping these upper arm bones in close to the ribs, so the upper arm bone is rolling out and then rolling it back in. So again, as you're doing this, try not to thrust the ribs forwards, keep those ribs stacked. And it might be that you don't have a very big range of movement here, but as you rotate out, you might feel a bit of a stretch in front of the chest. But what we more want is this activation of the muscles up around the shoulder blades. So that's what's helping pull the arms out wide. And controlling it back in and opening it out. And bringing it in and opening it out. So that, really good practice to do. So that's two good things that you can do for technique, humpy back. For the butt that's stuck out, a couple of things that could be a problem here. It could be that your hip flexors through the front of the hips are really tight, and that is what is closing this joint out and causing the butt to stick out, or it might be that the lower back's really tight and pulling the ribs up. So it's good to feel onto the ribs and see whether it's the ribs that are the issue or whether it's the pelvis that's the issue. So it might be, if it is the ribs, it might be just engaging the tummy muscles to have the ribs stacked over the hips, holding that for a couple of breaths and then letting it go, and coming in and out of the air to help free things up, to help get some movement. For the lower back, if it's the lower back that feels really tight, coming onto your back, bringing the knees in towards the chest, one hand on each knee and circle the knees around. So you're massaging the lower back into the floor, doing a few circles in one direction and then a few circles in the other. Just massaging the back out, and then starting to move the knees towards the chest and the belly and rocking from side to side. So if you've got anything going on at your tummy, you might want to move your knees out wider. It might also, depending on what's going on at the lower back and the hips, you might want to let the knees come out to the side and rock from side to side there. Some people might prefer to and feel more benefit keeping the knees together, so do whichever feels better for you and just massage that out. So when we start to be able to get the lower back moved out, then we can start to add some strength in, and the same with the upper body. Once we start to get some mobility and muscle activation, then we can build on the strength of it. So if you're interested, iamjenwilson.com/events to sign up for Saturday's masterclass at 1 o'clock. And if you can't make it, it will be recorded and sent out to everybody who has signed up for it. And if this is afterwards that you're finding out, it will be available for you to buy post-event. So if you get any questions, you send them on to me, and I'll hopefully see you at the masterclass.